Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your June 2019 Taurology 33 bonus love reading. Normally this is the reading that I do for the sign whose video from the previous month had the most views, like, and new subscribers, but for this month I did decide to do it for all the signs. But thank you guys for the love for the past couple months, and what I'll probably do is I'll just do a bonus reading for you guys next month anyway, since I'm doing it for all the signs this month. But yeah, for those of you who haven't seen this spread yet, this is a slightly different spread than normal. So first of all, there's different tarot decks on the table, right? We have the Lover's Path Tarot on the left and the Tarot of Sexual Magic on the right. And this is also a different spread than I do in the general readings. This is actually a spread I refer to as the Bridging the Gap spread. So the way it works is pretty simple. The three cards on this side are meant to represent your energy. The three cards on the other side are meant to represent your main love interest energy towards the connection. And then these are past energies, present energies, future energies. And then after we get through that main spread, we're actually going to pull some oracle cards for some additional insights, and that's where the bridging the gap aspect comes in. And also, before I forget, guys, if you want to book a personal reading with me, follow me on Instagram or donate to the channel. Just check out the description for more info on that, just to get that out of the way. All right, so let's go into the main spread. The past energy from your side, we have the King of Arrows. So the King of Arrows is actually a court card that represents Aquarius. So, let's just throw it out there before I forget that too. For some of you, trust it if it feels like this is a vice versa thing, because the first card on the other side is actually a Taurus card. So if you feel more like this is the other person's energy, this is your energy, totally trust it. It's a general reading. It could happen. All right. But yeah, back to this energy here. The King of Arrows. So this is actually, like I was saying, it's an Aquarius card. But beyond that, it can just represent being somewhat detached. In this particular deck, it's referred to, the name with it is Adonis. So this could have just been saying that you were really feeling yourself. You know what I mean? Maybe you had a lot of love offers coming in. At the time I'm recording this, Venus is already in your sign. It's going to be in your sign through the first 10 days of June also. So, that could just have you, getting a lot of love offers coming your way. So because of that, you might feel like, all right, I'm just going to sit back and let people come to me, right? So you could have just been in that energy of receptivity, but not necessarily making any moves. But with that Aquarian vibe too, it could definitely just say that you might have been a little bit detached. And just the vibe that you get from this card, right? Like it looks like he's sitting alone, like almost at a mountaintop or something, and almost with his nose up in the air, like he's not even paying attention to anything or anyone, right? So that could be what's going on there, where you're just giving off that vibe, whether you intended to or not. And then the past energy on their side, we actually have the Six of Pentacles. So like I was saying, this is actually a card of Taurus energy. It represents the middle 10 degrees of Taurus. So, that could just be saying, like I said, maybe for some of you this is even you, but to me this card represents balance. So what could have been happening, quite frankly, is if that was the vibe you were giving off, them being about that energy of, all right, well, I'm going to give what I get. They also could have been putting forth that same energy, like that indifference energy, right? So maybe that's where the two of you were in a stalemate in the past. If you were coming across this way and they have the mentality of, okay, well, I'm going to, give what I get in order to keep balance, then they could have been putting that same energy towards you. And of course, it goes without saying, you could see why things wouldn't move forward if that was the case, right? If you're both coming at it from that energy. So that could be what's at play there. And then, given that these are past energies, if these were timelines, there hasn't really been anything going on in Aquarius for a while. So that's a little less likely. But for all we know, yeah, that could be saying that even back in the time of Aquarius, this is when it started for you. Or more likely, this could have been in the middle of a Taurus season, perhaps when this dynamic was going on between the two of you. All right, and now the present energy on your side, we have magic. So, this is the equivalent of the Magician card in the regular tarot. So this could just be saying that this is the energy you're in now. You guys had a lot of transits going through. your sign, obviously the sun. Like I said, we have Venus there as well. You have Uranus in your sign as well. So there's quite a bit going on. So that could be what that's pointing to, just saying that you have that power to manifest right now. And, it could just be saying that that's the mode that you're in too. Not even just about those transits, but maybe you're just in that mood where you're like, you know what, I'm going to go out and get what I want. As opposed to in the past, maybe sitting in that energy of letting things come to you. Maybe now you're being a little bit more proactive. Mars moved into your sign recently. Not your sign, excuse me, moved into your third house recently of Cancer. So that could make you more communicative as well. So that could be communication, also short distance travel. So it could just have you more on the move, basically. So now you just might be like, all right, I'm ready to go out and get what I want. So that could be what's going on there, which would definitely be an energy shift from what we have in the past position. And then at the bottom of the deck as well, we have the Power card, which is the equivalent of the Emperor. So that's another energy as well of, basically not settling and going for what you want. I mean, in some ways, this energy could seem a little bit stubborn and fixed as well, but it is an Aries energy after all, so it's definitely more likely to go out to get what it wants as opposed to the King of Arrows energy we see there. Now, the present energy on their side is the Four of Cups. So, well, the first thing I'll point out with this card in particular from this deck is the artwork there. To me, it almost looks like somebody's up to something shady there, I almost feel like. So this could represent them trying to find out something about you, right? Like maybe trying to see, what your situation is right now. And especially, if maybe you guys were in that stalemate in the past and now all of a sudden you're coming towards them, they might be trying to figure out, well, where did this change come from? You know what I mean? So they might be trying to find that out. But more than anything, the Four of Cups energy, if you think about the Rider-Waite artwork, it's a person sitting there with their arms crossed. There's 3 cups in front of them. There's a 4th one being given to them, and they're not even paying it any mind. They look like they're unhappy with the offers being made. So on the positive side, what that could be saying for you is, maybe they've been getting offers from other people, but they haven't been accepting them because really, you were the person that they wanted. So they're like, all right, well, these other people are coming towards me, but, they're not feeling it. And especially, like I said, it looks like you guys were in a way mirroring each other in the past anyway. So maybe that was why they were in that energy too of, oh, I'm gonna give what I get. If they're not coming towards me, I'm gonna be fine where I'm at because maybe they had some offers coming their way as well. And if that's the case, it looks like they probably weren't happy with those offers. All right, and then the future position, you guys got 2 cards that came up on your side. So we got the Six of Arrows. So this is actually another Aquarius card for what it's worth. And then we have Awakening, which is actually the equivalent of the Sun card. So to me, what that says, these 2 cards together, the Six of Arrows could represent travel for one. And like I said, with the energy, Mars being in your 3rd house, basically all of June, that could definitely be what's giving you that, itch to maybe travel. So maybe if there's someone who lives a bit of a distance away from you, maybe you're deciding to go see them, right? And then the sun, of course, the sun energy, we know how that goes. That represents just happiness and just brighter days. So I could just say that maybe, and maybe even if there was some kind of like a stalemate between the two of you, like I said, with the Six of Arrows, that could be representing moving to calmer waters as well. So at least at first glance, it doesn't like you guys had like a serious argument going on or anything. It just really looked like both of you were being stubborn, not to play on the fixed sign stereotype, but I mean, there is an Aquarius energy here and a Taurus energy, 2 fixed energies. So maybe you guys are both set in your ways, and maybe for whatever reason, starting with the present and then moving forward, you decide to just, rather than sit back, to maybe take a little more action in the situation. And, I should mention too, with 2 Aquarius cards in the deck here, in the spread rather on your side, if this is your energy, that could just be pointing to 10th house energy as well, which is to say you could have been taking things very seriously. So, maybe you're just of the mind of, okay, I'm not going to accept anything less than what I feel I deserve. So, on the flip side, if they were coming at you with an offer, You know, the Six of Pentacles is like in the original artwork, it's the guy giving a little bit of coins to someone who looks like they're, you know, in a bit of a rough way. If you look at the energy that way, maybe you could say like you felt like the offer they were making you wasn't strong enough, so that's why you were kind of like, well, I'm just gonna turn my back to that, right, and not even pay it any mind. And but maybe, you know, as time goes along, you realize, well, you know what, maybe as opposed to just doing it that way, I could actually go after what I want and see if they're going to be able to give that to me, right? And then in the future position on their side, they have the Ten of Cups. So obviously a pretty positive card to have there, right? It's almost self-explanatory. You know, the only downside with the Ten of Cups could be possibly over idealizing and over romanticizing the situation. I think you guys had this in your May reading in the past position, so, you know, wouldn't be the first time the two of you had that energy between you, but at least with the sun on your side as well, it's definitely, you know, like your energy seemed to be more aligned in that regard. And in that way, it can play off in a more positive way. And here we don't really see that same vibe necessarily that we do with the regular Ten of Cups of, you know, maybe overly romanticizing. So that's a good thing as well. But yeah, you know, so like I said, it looks like there wasn't necessarily, I don't see any major rift between the two of you in the past. It just looked like you guys might have been stuck in your ways. And I feel that was part of the vibe that I was getting from last month's reading too. So for some of you, this could be a continuation of the same connection, but maybe this is just a whole new group of people that this reading's going out for. You guys will know, I'm sure though. And at the bottom of the deck on their side, another positive card in a way is the Lovers. So I guess if you had to look for a downside to this at all, this could just be saying again that they might have multiple options too. But I mean, with that Ten of Cups and the outcome in their position, it definitely to me seems like at the very least they would definitely be willing to go forward with you. And what's interesting to me too is we see Cupid, or at least you know what it looks like Cupid, right? The way we traditionally think of him, as opposed to like what looks like the regular angel and the lovers in the regular deck. It looks like Cupid here, and then in the awakening card in this deck, one of the names is actually Cupid. This is actually meant to represent Cupid. So there's that too. So that could there could be some significance to that as well. Just saying that maybe the timing is finally right for you guys, because this is a Gemini card too. So this could just be saying that in June, while we're in the time of Gemini, maybe now the timing is finally right for you guys to finally get on the same page, you know? All right, so next what we'll do is we'll try to see if we can get some oracle cards from this Mystic Moon oracle deck I have to see if there's any additional unspoken messages between your side and to them, and then their side toward you. So first we'll see if there's any unspoken messages from you towards them. And what I've been doing with these is, you know, I pre-shuffle them all before I start recording, but as far as shuffling during the reading, I'll do a little shuffling, and you know, if it feels like nothing's coming up, after a while I'll just trust that and then keep moving on. But we'll see. Usually I give it around a minute or so. See if we get anything that pops up. And like I said, first we're trying to see if there's any unspoken messages from you toward them. And for my personal preference, I actually just like when a card jumps out to me as opposed to, you know, just shuffling for a while and pulling one from the top. So that's why sometimes I'll say we might not even get a card for that position, which is fine because we have another oracle deck after this too. So definitely have at least some kind of additional messages before we wrap up for sure. But so far nothing coming up from your end towards them. I'll give it a couple more shuffles and then we'll try to see if there's anything from them towards you after that. So let me see. Alright, nothing there, so now we'll try to see if there's any messages from them toward you. See if we get anything with that. Almost had one pop out there. I mean, to be fair, this isn't one of those readings that seems like a huge mystery to me at this point anyway. It seems like the timing, you guys are both in the same energy in the past, but like we said, given the energy that it wasn't exactly productive for you guys moving forward in any way. It looks like, for whatever reason, you guys are both moving out of that. It looks like, in a way, you might be the one taking more of the initiative there, but either way, it looks like it's going to end up pretty good. Like I said, with that Cupid energy we saw, that could just mean that it was just a timing thing where you guys just had to go through this anyway. Oop, sorry. Hit the camera. Alright, yeah, so I'm not getting anything there either, so let's go to the last Oracle deck. And this is actually the Wisdom Oracle deck that I use for the general readings as well. Well, it's one of the Oracle decks I use for those readings anyway. And what we'll do here is just see if there's any additional main messages before we wrap up. Alright, so we'll just be looking for one card here. Alright, got a card. And it's No Place Like Home. There's the artwork for it, and that's number 50. So let's see what we have with this. Okay, it says authenticity, coming home to yourself, feeling at home, arriving at a place where you just fit, being comfortable in your own skin. The Oracle's message: home feels safe and secure. It's a comfortable place to rest and create, a place that is known and you can call yours. This card signals that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you claim your dignity and integrity, aspects of yourself no one can take away from you. You know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of your soul. This puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is your home. You are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit. So, what was interesting about that as I was reading it? Well, first was the part where it said, you hold your head high, and then I was thinking about what I was saying to you guys with that past energy. I was saying that that's the vibe that this person gives off, right? Like they would just had their nose up toward everyone and everything, basically. And like I said, it looked like you came out of that energy and decided more to go after what you want. And one thing that I realized too when I was reading that about authenticity is, I realized that basically Uranus is in your sign and it rules the sign of Aquarius. So that could also be why you have those Aquarius cards pop up on your side. Just saying on that you're taking on a little bit more of that energy with their ruling planet sitting in your sign. And then not to mention as well, like I said, you guys have Venus in your sign at the time of recording this, and also for the first 10 days of June. So that's your ruling sign. So that could make you feel a little bit more ready to go after what you want in that regard too, and more in your power in that regard. All right, the relationship message says lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You are in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the knowledge that it is reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspects of familiarity now. Be home in this relationship. Together you add to the love of the world. So, like I was saying before too, about the part being in sync, that's what I was saying there too. Like, it just seems like, in a way you guys were in sync in the past too, but obviously in a very unproductive way to get a relationship moving. But looks like you guys will also be in sync in the future, but in a much more positive way to get an actual love relationship moving. So overall, pretty good reading there. Sorry about me hitting the camera like a freaking hot mess. But yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of that reading, and I'll talk to you guys next month. All right, bye.